a majority shareholder position and subject to regulatory approval. But what I think that stands testament to is the confidence in the Indian market, perhaps. Now, the insurance sector in itself is interesting because as consumers in India, we're vastly uninsured, and it's not the first product that we think about when it comes to buying something that's important for us. It's mostly cars, TVs, real estate, etc. So how do you see that evolving? Really, health insurance or others, if you might want to expand, and how are you thriving in a push side sector?
It's essentially a push category. But before I get to my monologue, how many of you have health insurance? A show of hand, please. I could still see. Good question. This still, you know, this is. I'll talk about one very big fundamental shift in health insurance. It's always been a push category. The right question to ask is, how many of you got a call from Bajaj Finance to sell you insurance, loan, etc.? That's the intensity of the category. And one fundamental shift that I've seen is the consumer rank order of the category, and that has happened post COVID, right? Insurance has largely been used as a tax saving tool in the country. The current penetration of insurance is 9%. I'm talking health insurance is 9%. And that is in spite of 5 states and the central government funding health insurance under 5 lakhs. In spite of that, the penetration is very, very poor. And one of the largest reason that has been there is that insurance is a category which works on delayed gratification. I buy something today and I'll not use it. I'm hoping I'll not use it, right? Uh, what has fundamentally changed is that the consumer has started ranking order the category much, much higher, because the kind of sickness that the world has seen in the pandemic is is something that people have not even thought of. So, piece of paper really has meaning, tangible meaning. And because I am in health insurance, we see these countless human stories that happen every day, every 65 second. I'm not selling my company, but every 65 second, a human life interacts with a health insurance from my organization every 65 seconds. That's the impact. And people have started ranking order this category differently. Now, because of that larger umbrella, there are two interesting things that are happening from a trend standpoint. First is, it was largely a conversation between the man of the house and the agent or the advisor. It was largely a conversation happening in a drawing room of the house. Now, a conversation on health insurance is happening on the dining table. The woman, the wife, or the mother is becoming a very, very important participant of this conversation. What we saw in COVID is that majority of the time the man of the house is in the hospital, he's incommunicado. The wife doesn't even know whether they have a health insurance or not, right? So there is a conversation. What is happening, let's say in a paint category or an automobile category, has started happening in a health insurance category, which is very, very interesting. Second, they're close to about 30 million single women who have shown interest in buying health insurance. This is Google search data. That has never happened. That has never happened. So new markets are emerging. The Google search queries on health insurance post pandemic are growing by 35%. Never happened. There's a research that has happened, it's done by a digital aggregator. 73% of the Indians think that health insurance is very important. This is a research done on 27,000 consumer in 27 cities. Never happened. So the overall importance, you talked about cars and smartphones, etc. The overall importance that people have started attributing to health insurance has gone through the roof. And in my mind, digitization, AI, they're all horizontal. They are means to an end. But the way a consumer fundamentally looks at a category, that essentially is the biggest change that at least I've seen.
Thanks, Nimish. Also interesting in terms of we've talked about demographic profile, etc., but the sort of decision making around insurance and how that's changing. Very interesting to hear. Last but not